And this ought to be working. I'm going to make sure this is working before I continue with the video. Make sure I get audio, etc. And then we'll continue with a little demonstration day. Okay. Okay. All right, that appears to be working. So basically what I'll be doing today is going over, so I've been training my own Arnold Schwarzenegger 224 resolution model to use with DeepFaceLive software. I did a demonstration on the software here a couple weeks ago before I went on vacation, and so now I'm back from my trip, and I'm still on vacation for the next roughly a week here, but I'll be from home for the rest of it. So I've been training my own what's called an RTM. I don't know what RTM stands for, but Iparov is the name of the guy who developed the software, and that's just the acronym that he used. But it's a big face set of images. It's about 63,000 faces that you train your model against to get a really good set of variables, lighting conditions, etc., to hopefully help it improve. And you train your model against that for about 1.5 million iterations, roughly 1.3, 1.5, and following some certain steps that he has in his site. And the ultimate result is supposed to be that you can make your own model to use with DeepFaceLive. So as I did before in the past, I used like I had Sylvester Stallone going. So for example, I should be able to change myself on the fly here to let's see if that works. Give it a second here, and it should. Come on, Sly Stallone. There you go. So I'm Sly Stallone now. Now I can talk like that's not how he talks. Adrian, nothing's over. I just need something to drink. And these ones were pretty good. This is like one of the pre-trained models that came with it. I am finding that like at certain angles it's doing maybe not as well as I want it. I got the camera on top of my monitor. It seems like I need to find a way to get the camera like right in front of my face without it blocking the monitor. So that's sort of a challenge. It's finding a good angle, finding good lighting, but it is doing pretty good job. And like I said, this is one of them that came with the software. You can just download it automatically. And then I showed how to do that in the previous video where I went over this. If you guys want to check that out, check out the last video I did on when I first initially went over using the DeepFaceLive software and how to kind of play with it. So this is, Sylvester Stallone. We've got Tom Cruise that I did before, so I'll bring him up real quick. I should be able to immediately swap over and become Tom Cruise in the video. Again, I think Tom's model might work a little bit better than Stallone's does because like you can blink, and I couldn't blink with Stallone. I didn't show that, I guess, but there is, again, with Stallone, like if I tried to blink, one eye or the other didn't work, but if I, you could wink, or sorry, reverse. I couldn't wink, I could blink. Like with Tom, it looks like they've got it so he can kind of do both a little bit better. But again, it's like certain facial expressions don't work super well. But overall, this is doing a pretty good job. I'm running this on my Threadripper with my W6800 Pro today. I've found that the CPU makes enough of a difference in this that it's probably beneficial to just use my workstation when I run this for the moment. Seems like the 11900K kind of chokes in this a little bit. The 3090 is a better video card for it, but the CPU is so much more limited than the Threadripper that it's better on the workstation. I think whenever I can get, so like I did a post here the other day, I got the, I don't know what this is talking about. This is the audio channels are having a problem. So hopefully that's not an issue. Let me make sure this sounds okay, guys. I'm sorry. I always have audio issues, it seems like, don't I? Give me 1 second, make sure that this is doing what it should be doing. If there's anybody in the comments that could comment and tell me if it sounds good to you, that'd be helpful, but whatever. Let's see if this is doing it. So that's my phone. I'm just trying to check the audio levels, and of course it's got to play an ad. So let's see. That sounds fine to me. I don't know what the other talked about. Whatever. Okay, so that's Tom Cruise as we did before. Again, just showing the difference. Now I'm going to go ahead and load up my new Arnold model that I made. It's not perfect. I think this Tom is still fairly significantly better, but I'll go ahead and show you how it came out, because it's not bad, and I can keep training on it, and I think I probably can improve it. We'll switch to Arnold here. Okay. It's going to take a second, I think, to pop up and show the change. All right. So this is where it's at so far. It seems like a lot of times it looks like my eye, like it wants to make it look like my eyes are closed. I think it's because I'm looking down at the screen instead of directly at the camera. But you come on here and you become Arnold Schwarzenegger very easily by pressing a button. Now you're a different person. Like something just changed, and now I'm this other guy. What happened? It seems like the side profiles are okay, not amazing, but okay. That's not so great. Ah, you think this is the real Quaid? It is. So this I spent again, like I was on vacation for a week, and I let this train. For those of you kind of who are familiar with the Deepface laboratory software or Deepface Lab software, I had this running at batch 10 for a week, during which time it did about 300,000 iterations, which isn't a ton, but that's because it was at a high batch size. So it seems to be doing, certain angles not so hot. That seems to be a little bit better for some reason. I don't really know why it's having that problem. This is a face set, like my own library I've made of Arnold Schwarzenegger images. A total of about, I want to say it's like 7,000 or 8,000, maybe closer to 9,000, I guess. Different color, scenarios. So like a lot of it's taken from Total Recall, Terminator 2, Kindergarten Cop, and some of his older movies, like this one he did called Raw Deal, which some of you may or may not be familiar with because that's getting pretty old. But excuse me. But there's quite a few different movies I took these footages from. Total Recall, like there's a scene where he's on like a train on the Martian landscape. So there's like all these lighting conditions keep changing. It gets darker, it gets lighter. There's like red light, things like that. There's other scenes like True Lies. I took some from that as well. There's like blue light scenes in that. So I've got lots of different scenes where there's different lighting conditions, different facial expressions, and try to compile a pretty good library of images. And this has been the result thus far. I don't know how much more improvement I can get, but I suspect, if I train another 300,000 iterations over another week, it probably will improve. And if I got up to maybe a total of like 2 million iterations, it might solve some of this shit you see right here with the side profile not being great. So, not amazing, but this has been my result. Like I say, not perfect, but pretty good. The next, like I say, I'll keep training it for a while and see if we can improve upon it a bit more. I might just go ahead and train it on my workstation so I can use my gaming rig for other things or something and see how it plays out. AMD put out a new driver like yesterday or the day, I think the 19th, for my W6800 Pro. I installed that. I want to see if that's improved anything. I want to try direct machine learning. It's called the Direct ML TensorFlow edition for Deepface Lab. You can update the TensorFlow version manually to use something called Direct ML that supposedly AMD and Microsoft has been working on together. It's supposed to speed up how fast you can train, do deep learning with AMD cards and other non-NVIDIA cards. So things to try, things to play with, things to try to improve. But this is where we're at thus far. I guess, like I say, between training this some more and then also attempting to see like if I can play a game and do this at the same time, I almost am certain I will have to do that with two PCs. Like for example, this computer can run DeepFaceLive and be doing, get a little bit closer here. So like it kind of, there's like a lot of orange tint to it. I think that's from Terminator 2 footage. This smile looks pretty good though. It's like, again, like there's a scene in Terminator 2 when he's trying to learn how to smile and Connor's making fun of him. And it's like, go practice in front of a mirror, and he's like, you think, who are you? I want you to come over to my house and we will play games. So, anyways, yeah, the teeth are pretty good. Like most of Arnold's smiles and stuff are pretty good definition on teeth, so it turned out pretty good in that regard. But there's like a little bit of an orange tint depending on how close I get to it. Kind of what different lighting conditions I'll do. Let's just try screwing around with oh, that's like that kind of altered it pretty heavily, didn't it? Let's see. I don't know if I'd call it better. In fact, I would call it very strange. My one eye appears to have gone. I've had a stroke. Oh God, get me to the hospital. So, like, depending on the light conditions, it changes perhaps which images it's pulling from the library, and it's doing it on the fly. So it's doing a pretty good job on the fly. Whatever. Anyways, so yeah, I'll keep training it. I think, again, to play a game and do this at the same time, it's like too much system resources required for one PC to do. So even with two GPUs in last time, it's like it really was struggling to do both things. Although maybe the game really just wasn't running well because I was running it on that stupid or the W6800 Pro, and like really that's not a gaming card, so it wasn't liking that. I could have tried reversing that and playing the game on the RTX and running this on the W6800 Pro. That might have worked better. Yeah, now I'm looking from an angle with the lighting. It's different. It might be better. Not from that angle. Jeez, one angle is not great. So it still needs time in the oven, but this is definitely an improvement over where we were before. Hope you guys enjoyed this content a little bit. I linked where to download Deepface Live and Deepface Lab in the description. Some people were asking for like the RTM files. I thought I had linked some of that stuff before. Let me grab that link real quick. I'll add. Basically, it's not so much a link to the file. It's a link to just like the Deepface Lab page on GitHub. But if you scroll down, there's a link that's called a magnet link. And you need a torrent downloading application to pick that up. But that'll, let's see, RTM files available via magnet link. Okay. And then I think I'll add the link to the tutorial that iProf supplied also on how to train your 224 resolution model to work with DeepFaceLive. Let me put that in there. Hold on. Sorry. Model training tutorial. All right. Hopefully those things prove useful to you fine folks out there. Anyways, this has been all kinds of fun, but I wanted to at least show you guys my progress on this since I've been back from my my vacation trip up to Michigan. I did not get any deer. I barely even saw anything. This seems to be the way things go. What can I tell you? But anyways, glad to be back. We'll be trying to get DDR5 so I can do a Z690 build. Maybe vote somewhere, like leave a comment, see what you guys think. Should I keep trying to get DDR5? I feel like if I don't get a DDR5 board and get DDR5, I'm going to regret it later. Like I've got that kit of 4400 megahertz DDR4 fast memory for now, but from what I've been reading, they're going to have DDR5 in the future that's like beyond 10 gigahertz, like 12.5 gigahertz. So probably going to want that. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed this content.